Hey guys, this is SB6. Today I would like to do a little review of the Hypersynth Xenophone. It's a new analog monosynth from Hypersynth, and yeah, there's not a lot of info about it on the internet, so I thought it would be useful to do a little review. I've had a lot of monosynths in the past, and I'm really excited about this one, so I hope I can show you why. So let's have a look. First, on the back we see a main volume knob. The output of this thing is really hot, so you can turn it down a little bit to accommodate for the signals of your other instruments. But it's really nice, it can go really loud. The headphone input, main output, headphone output of course. Audio input for external devices, and this is a CV gate which can act as an input or an output. You can set that in the global settings. Of course the MIDI in and outputs, and a USB port. Now the USB port is a little different than the ones I'm used to. It doesn't show up as a MIDI device, but as a serial port. So that's a little strange, but it works really well. You have to install a special program to send updates and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's really quick and updates without problems, so that's fine. If you want to use MIDI over USB, then you have to install a virtual port for routing the MIDI signals to that serial port. Okay, over here we have the oscillator sections, 3 oscillators with a lot of different settings. Here we have the envelope section and the soft knobs. Here the effects, distortion and reverbs and delays. And this is all about modulation. And yeah, you can do a lot of crazy stuff with all these parameters. So yeah, let's have a look. First the oscillators. They track really nicely. Even in the extreme high registers it still sounds pretty good. The pulse wave, big low end in there. Triangle, just a basic triangle. And now for the fun stuff, we have a saw square wave, which is a hybrid between a saw and a square, of course. And you'll have a shape knob here to go from total square to total saw, and you can modulate the shape. And when the shape is below 100, that means it still has a square part in it, then you can also do pulse width modulation on the square part. That's pretty cool. This is a tri-square, the same principle. But now with a triangle and a square. There's more. You can set it off. There's a stepped square. It's a little different square wave. It doesn't have pulse width modulation, but you can modulate it with the shape. And there is an XOR between oscillator 1 and 2. So now it also involves oscillator 2. it's a cross modulation between 1 and 2. You see, you can do really funny stuff there. Now a nice detail is that the LEDs light up when the levels increase. So when you see here, the LED goes brighter when I turn up the level of the second oscillator. And it's the same for here. Only one of the oscillators has to be selected. So you can see it dimming and brightening up when increasing the values. The same goes for the filter. If I close the filter, then the LED goes down. So that's really handy because you can see what your patch is doing in one view at the panel. Okay. On every oscillator there's also a sub-oscillator. Let's bring it a little bit down. It makes it rich and full. You can adjust it to 1 octave below, 2 octaves below, and this is a ring modulator type. Slightly different sound. And a ring modulator 2 octaves down. Yeah, you can also bring in the second oscillator to form maybe a fifth or something. And there's a third oscillator, which is a little bit more limited, and it's the noise oscillator. But the noise oscillator can switch from white noise to pink noise, red noise, tuned C64 noise, and a square. So we can actually make a chord with this. The third oscillator is 3 semitones above the fundamental, and the second oscillator is 7 semitones above. So we now basically have a 3-note chord, or even a 4-note if you count the sub-oscillator too. So I think it's time to bring in some filters. No, I haven't mentioned the detune. Let's turn this one down. I now have 2 oscillators running, and with this knob I can detune the pitches between them. Really big sounds. You can also adjust the drift, which is a more subtle detuning of the oscillators. And FM is for the filter. I'm not sure if we go to the So it takes the input from oscillator 1 and frequency modulates it with the filter. Okay, so now we have a 12 dB filter on our patch. Which is already pretty cool, but I think this one works best for those little brassy sounds. If I take just oscillator 1, which is a basic saw, and then if we go one level higher, we have the 18 dB filter. Which sounds a little acid-like. And the 24 dB filter. A bit of sounds pretty cool in this basic form, but when you combine it with all the other aspects, you can get really big sounds. Now there are a few knobs I haven't talked about on the panel here below. We have a ring modulator. This gets most notable when the second oscillator is not in tune with the other one. This is without the ring modulator. Pretty cool. And there is a feedback knob. I think it's a trick first introduced by Moog, which routes the output signal directly into the input signal. Which acts as an overdrive. Okay, when we go back to the filters, we also have a high pass filter. A band pass filter. I think this especially works well with the feedback, so the sound can retain a lot of its body. And let's see, we also have a notch filter. Let's bring this. That's also cool. And then some kind of new type of filters, which is a combination of a low pass and a high pass filter. And a combination of a another low pass and high pass filter, but this time with a 12 dB filter. Okay, of course we can adjust the envelopes. Here with this knob we can switch to the amplifier envelope. So let's give it a little bit more release, for instance. And the filter. We can make the decay maybe it's a little bit longer, increase the depth. Sustain. I'm turning the feedback a little bit down now. And what you might have noticed is that the envelopes are linear right now. So if I go to the subpage of the filter envelope, it says linear here. And RC is more like a logarithmic type of envelope, which can get really snappy. So let's go back to the filter envelope. If I now turn and there's even more modes. We have RC2, which is even faster, and we have a exponential envelope. Okay. Now we can go to the effects section. I think the delays and reverbs on a lot of hardware synths are not very good, but these are really really usable. So let's have a look. The room reverb. The gated reverb, plate. This is a simple delay, and we have a delay and reverb. And there's even more parameters you can adjust on the soft knob. Delay time. Sync it to external tempo, how many repeats, how wet the reverb will be. And then we also have the distortion. Okay, now for the modulation section, we have 3 LFOs in here, and you can almost modulate every parameter, but there are a few ones that you can select right from here. So if we go to the first oscillator, you can set its target to the pitch of the different oscillators, the pulse width and the shape. The shape was used in these 2 oscillators, the hybrid ones. Let's modulate the pitch of these ones. I set the depth. Okay, so now we can also maybe select a shape one with one of the special oscillators. Let's turn this one down. So this is a sort of pulse width modulation with a square and a saw. And maybe add in another oscillator with the frequency of the filter. Yeah, and you can do special modulations within 8 modulation slots. So if we go into one, I can select a source like the randoms, constants, CV levels. It's all in there. Pedals, aftertouch. Yeah, let's take aftertouch. And then as a target I can select maybe the ring level. But let's pick something different once. And then I have to bring in this oscillator. To increase the depth a lot. Maybe even more. So here you can see how much aftertouch I apply on the patch. Let's do a little less on the filter. Okay, yeah, so if you have 8 slots available for all kinds of weird modulations. Now we have one thing left, the arpeggiator and sequencer. It's really flexible as well. We have a sequencer where you can input note with the keyboard. But it's a little bit buried in the menu, so the developer thought it could be made more user-friendly, but now we have to do it through the menus. This is how many steps we are going to input. 8. A trigger on a key, that's fine. Key tracking. Will the sequencer go higher when we press a higher note? Okay, that's fine. Velocity step. And you have to set the arpeggiator to step. Then we can input sequences so we can make our own arpeggiators. So let's have a look. If I'm in the sequencer menu and press enter, I can press notes. Now I'm done. So if I plays it really fast, so I can go to the arpeggiator division. So I've made my own sequence. I can also tell the sequence to it restarts now every time I press the button, the key on the keyboard. But I can also tell it to not reset on the keyboard. So every time I press a key, it continues the sequence where it left off. Okay, I'd like to filter with a little bit key tracking. So the higher notes will get less filtered. that's really fun. So yeah, I can also use the normal arpeggiators, of course. Then I have to set the span to up down, for instance. It's now 1 octave, 3 octaves. Those are the normal arpeggiators. There's also 3 preview buttons on the unit itself. So you can test if it works. I think that's about it. If you want to know more, you can always ask me in the comments in the YouTube video. Yeah, I think it's a cool unit. Let me know what you think about it. Okay, bye bye.